Hi, Sunnis. How are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So, a very big shout out to Empress Onyx. Thank you so much for this. I came across your video and she was talking about how the Southern Democrats, like she was talking about the history of Southern Democrats and how Democrats were a party that was also in support of slavery, and also not just only they were in support, they also participated in slavery, right? And this is not my first time of hearing it. I have heard about it before, and but I love the way she get full detail, like it is well detailed about how they went from advocating for slavery and also right now they advocate for a marginalized group. And you all know that so far, I don't know, but I think like I am. It's more like I am working for Black people, right? And first of all, when you are working with people, you have to listen to people. You have to understand them. You also have to know where they stand, and most especially where they stand is also where you are supposed to stand, right? But when there is need for correction or something, absolutely, I will do as much as I can to put out my own correction and also put out my own view, of which I have also been doing, right? And what I am going to say is that so far, why I also became very much interested in Democrat was also because Black, it is more like a Black kind, party. A lot of Black people can also relate with some certain things and whatever. But you know what? Let's get into this video.
For those who don't know, I primarily discuss two things: history not taught in school and the experiences of Black women in the United States. Of course, there's a dash of politics thrown in. When it comes to history, I usually discuss the time frame of Reconstruction through Jim Crow, which gets interesting and confusing, especially when speaking about the political parties, Republicans and Democrats. You see, yesterday's Republicans and Democrats are not today's Republicans and Democrats. So when I sit there and malign the Democrats and call them out their name, people get confused. When I talk about how the Democrats filibustered every anti-lynching bill to hit the floor in Congress, people get confused. They don't understand. Times were different, and so was the Democratic Party. Or should I say, the Southern Democrats, because that is where the majority of the Democrats were, the South. There were Western Democrats and Northern Democrats, but they didn't have a chokehold on the political process like the Southern Democrats did. So let's talk a little bit about the Southern Democrats. Simply put, the Southern Democrats are members of the U.S. Democratic Party who reside in the Southern United States. The title of Democrat has its beginnings in the South, going back to the founding of the Democratic Republican Party in 1793 by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. It held to small government principles and distrusted the national governments. Sound familiar? After being the dominant party in U.S. politics from 1801 to 1829, the Democratic Republicans split into two factions by 1828. The Federalist National Republicans, Whigs, that's where Whigs come from, and the Democrats. Now, Northern Democrats were in serious opposition to Southern Democrats on the issue of slavery. That's where there was a divide in the Democratic Party. Northern Democrats, led by Stephen Douglas, who would be a bane in their existence until he dies, believed in popular sovereignty, letting the people of the territories vote on slavery. The Southern Democrats reflecting the views of the late John C. Calhoun, which I think we're going to talk about him. Yeah, we'll talk about him later. Insisted slavery was national. John C. Calhoun was vice president to John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. He was a strong advocate of slavery and sought to protect the interests of white Southerners. He became a leading proponent of states' rights. Here is where we start hearing about states' rights. The Democrats controlled the national government from 1853 until 1861, starting with John Adams. 9 consecutive presidents were Southern Democrats. It skips 1 year or 1 president and picks back up with Millard Fillmore in 1855. The North formed the anti-slavery Republican Party, and in 1860, the Republicans nominated Abraham Lincoln. But the divide among Democrats led to the nomination of 2 candidates. John C. Breckinridge of Kentucky represented Southern Democrats, and Stephen A. Douglas of Illinois represented Northern Democrats. Now, we already know who won. Abraham Lincoln. We also know what happened next, right? We know what happened once Lincoln was elected. South Carolina doesn't believe that Lincoln won't touch slavery. They jump the gun and they secede from the Union. Southern Democrats led the charge to secede from the Union and establish the the Confederate States of America. The United States Congress was dominated by Republicans. A notable exception was Democrat Andrew Johnson of Tennessee, the only senator from a state in rebellion to reject secession. Johnson would become Lincoln's vice president and eventually would become president of the United States. At the beginning of the 20th century, the Democrats, led by the dominant Southern wing, the Southern Democrats, had a strong representation in Congress. They won both houses in 1912 and elected Woodrow Wilson, a New Jersey academic with deep Southern roots and a strong base among the Southern middle class. Segregation found its way into the federal government through Wilson's cabinet members, all from the South, all racist. The Republican Party regained Congress in 1919. Thank the Lord, because there was a lot of rioting going on in 1919. Massacres across the country, and Woodrow Wilson was doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Southern Democrats held powerful positions in Congress during the Wilson administration, with one study noting, though compromising only about half the Democratic senators and slightly over 2/5 of the Democratic representatives, the Southerners made up a large majority of the party's senior members in the 2 houses. That's how they did it, seniority. They exerted great weight in the 2 Democratic caucuses and headed almost all of the important congressional committees. That's how they were able to dominate the political process. They had congressional members that were in Congress for years and years and years. They would get in the late 1890s and be in there for 10, 20, yes, 30 years. These congressmen exerted great weight in the 2 Democratic caucuses and headed almost all of the important congressional committees. Tomorrow, we will discuss the fracturing of the Democratic Party.
This is all I got from this, and trust me, this is absolutely very educated. She was like, I think she started with Southern Democrats a history. I mean, then she talked about the advocate of, like, the Democrats were or advocated for slavery, all right? And now, from advocating for slavery to advocating for marginalized group, right? I have read, this is not my first time of hearing or learning about this. I mean, thanks to you all, because most of the education I have, learned so far when it comes to history, the history of the parties, Republican, Democrats, and all that, it all started. I mean, you people are the foundation of it. And like I said, I am going to keep improving and learning more about Black history and also American politics, because this is most like where I am focusing on so far. Right? I love the fact that because I have also remembered, like, each time the conservatives, each time they want to lash Black people out, the first thing they tell them is that are you people not aware that the Republicans were also, like, they did a lot during they participated in slavery when during the period, and you all are so quick to support them. Yeah, I understand that during slavery they absolutely participated in slavery, but now it is a lot way better. Not like I'm going to say that the iron slavery or slavery ain't happening anymore. All these things are absolutely happening. And slavery never went away. It's just evolved and all that. Right? So if it is going to lie about, like, they are not the perfect. I mean, if it is, when it comes to politics, there is no perfect politician or usually, are they really good? They are not good. But maybe out of one or two or three, there might be someone that is willing and ready to listen to people and to work with people and to also make people's lives better and the rest of it. So yeah, I am aware of how they went from advocating of slavery to how they also became better people or better party. Not like they are not saints. I won't stop saying it. They are not sent, but I love the fact that they also, like, directly or indirectly have the interests of Black people at heart and also the marginalized group. But if you ask me, I am going to tell you that why I am also, like, partially or kind of rooting for the Democrat Party is because, like, majority of Black people are rooting for them, and anything that Black people are not rooting for, it's not for me. I don't know how if Black people say this is going away, I am also going away, because their stand is also where I stand. Right? So, yeah, let me know what you all think in the comment section, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.